You've worked hard to build a dream retirement. Now it's time to put that plan into action. This is Retire ATL with Aaron Vincent and Matt Decker. The team at Vincent Financial wants to help you build, protect, and grow income to get you to and through retirement. Now, Retire ATL with Aaron Vincent and Matt Decker.
This is the Retire ATL podcast, all powered by the Vincent Financial Group. You can get more when you visit retireatlradio.com. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. Now, let's get to the show. And it's all powered by the Vincent Financial Group, here with CFP Matthew Decker and investment advisor CFP and pumpkin spice latte himself, Aaron Vincent.
I hate pumpkin spice.
Talking about tax planning, risk management, and determining your income strategy. My name is Mark Owens. He came walking in with
pink cup.
Coffee. Yeah, it's
I do have a pink cup.
I thought first thing is PSL.
Hey guys,
it's got to be froofy.
It's salmon, not pink.
Oh, okay.
Not personal seat license. It's PSL. Pumpkin spice latte season for Aaron Vincent.
I'm too insecure. I got to let all of our listeners know I do not take any flavor in my coffee.
Just straight black,
how about
no
that?
Cream, no nothing.
Yeah. He uses more honey than most, though.
Yeah,
Lots of honey.
A lot of honey. The way yes, I do those because I don't like coffee. I've never been a coffee guy, but I get those little espresso shots or espresso. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll just do a couple of those little shots.
Hey yo,
yeah. I know, because if I do drink a cup of coffee, it's 90% sugar and cream and 10% coffee, so it kind of defeats the purpose. Yeah. But have you taken the kids to get those like unicorn drinks at Starbucks?
Is that the one that costs like $20?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's like 600 milligrams of sugar.
geez.
Or grams of sugar.
Not only would I not be okay with that, my wife would burn the place down if she even heard that our kids ordered one of those because all the sugar.
It's all like whipped cream and fruit filling and sugar but then I mean
sprinkles.
I'm sure it's great.
I'm sure it's fantastic.
Yeah.
The sugar rush is amazing, and then the crash is depressing.
The problem is
crying.
insulin costs too much.
Diabetes is a real problem. RetireATLRadio.com to meet the team or keep this number close, 770-741-0120 to reach out to the team at the Vincent Financial Group at any time this weekend or throughout next week. And gentlemen, y'all recently had a fantastic educational seminar locally serving retirees and pre-retirees. And I want to pull the curtain back a little bit. I want to rip the curtain off the hinges. If we have thought about attending one of these for whatever reason, time, effort, energy, scheduling, whatever, we haven't had the opportunity to. Well, let's talk to the people about what can they expect. What is it like when you put on one of these great seminars? What can we expect and what happens? So, Matt, let's just start at the beginning. What are these educational events like with you and the team at the Vincent Financial Group?
Well, each one's a little bit different. And the reason that they're different is because I've got, three main pillars that I just know we have to talk about these three things. And it's the same three things that we talk about on this show. We have to talk about taxes, we have to talk about risk, and we have to talk about income and income planning. And so I know going in that, most of the time these are like 90 minutes long. So it's an educational event where we're going through a lot of material. People come in, they take notes. So I know that we have to hit those key pillars because those are the things that will move the needle the most. But then the reason that basically every single one is different is because I'll get up in front of the class and I'll just ask, hey, we're going to be here for 90 minutes. You all are taking time out of your week in the evening to come and sit in a classroom with me. Why are you here? Tell me why you're here. What is it that you want to get out of this? Because I want this to be as beneficial for the people that are in the room as possible. Yeah. And so I'll just throw that out there. And, people will tell me. So like last week we did one and there were 4 people in the first couple rows and all of them had pensions. And they're like, I got a pension and I have a lump sum option and I don't know what to do. I'm like, okay, great. So you write it on the board. Some people are, I need to know more about estate planning and estate taxes. Okay, great. So I write it on the board. And then the whole idea is whoever shows up that night, whatever it is that they want to learn about, whatever it is that they want to, dive a little bit deeper on, we try to weave those topics in and throughout our kind of standard boilerplate, what we know we have to cover, which is taxes, risk, and income. And it's a fun time because every single one's different. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, besides the 40 minutes that I know we're going to spend.
The last thing we want to do is, because we do these things regularly, not every week, but regularly. And the last thing we want to do is have a certain sort of framework, an outline to go by, and just do the same thing every week.
Gosh, if it was a pitch deck,
Yeah.
like, you know what a pitch deck is, right? It's like a,
go through your 60 slides
Yeah.
in the same order every time and answer the same questions and tell the same jokes.
yeah,
And God
you're
bless.
building urgency, and then you're calling back to some kind of close or call to action, and you're just trying to like plant these seeds, and it's the same every single time. And you can do it here, you can do it in Tennessee, you can do it in Florida, you can go anywhere, you can drop yourself in, pull up your pitch deck, pitch all the people, and you get the appointments. Like, gosh, if that's what we were doing, well, we wouldn't do it because we couldn't do it because it would just be so boring.
But we find, like, we learned a lesson this last week that we shouldn't have had to learn again, but we did. But it's a good reminder. So one of Matt's superpowers, actually,
Dun, dun, dun.
he only has one. This is it. No, but
You're the Avenger.
I'll take one. Hey, give me one. I'll take one.
You're the minor league Avenger. He's going to do one thing very good.
it's not X-ray vision, I promise. You can still come to the event. No, he has a knack for taking whatever the topic is, and it can be a really, really complex one. We might be talking about estate planning or taxes or the ins and outs of income planning. I mean, all those things by themselves, they got a lot of layers to them. Your head can spin if you're not used to talking in those kind of terms. Well, he's got a really good talent for taking those topics and boiling it down to where anyone in the room can understand it. And this past week, this kind of gets back to why do we do these things. We learned, we had a situation where Matt talked about, I mean, taxes was a big one this week. There's a lot of stuff happening, big, beautiful bills and all this stuff going on that taxes they're always relevant, but it was particularly relevant to this room.
It's probably going to be your number one expense in retirement.
For sure. We ask, rhetorically around the room, hey, what's going to be your biggest expense in retirement?
There's two. There's
Grandkids.
two, by the way.
Yeah.
Number one and number two. I should say taxes is number two.
Well, hold on. Do people say family? No, I'm trying to think like what is going to be my biggest expense? Debt, my mortgage?
The typical answers, that's a good guess,
Yeah.
but typically it's travel,
Okay.
grandkids. Some people who are like kind of defensive and trying to get the right answer, like, oh, it's healthcare. Like,
Yeah.
people who are trying to think about this really hard. And we're always like, no, all good guesses. Those
Golf.
might be like 3, 4, and 5, but they're definitely not 1, probably not 2.
Pumpkin spice latte?
Pumpkin spice lattes. Matt, I'm curious. Drum roll, please. What are the 2?
Well, taxes is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1 is ignorance.
Yeah, the stupid tax.
The
It's a
stupid
different kind of
tax.
tax.
That's right.
Both taxes, but
Didn't have that on the list.
either you can call it ignorance or just delay. Don't make a decision. That tax that you pay, I mean,
We've all paid that tax
yeah, we
before.
all
Right.
have. So don't feel, that's for sure. In different ways, different topics. But yeah, ignorance or just delay, just kicking the can down the road and you wait too long. That's number 1, that idiot tax. 2 is actual income taxes. And then 3 are the 3 that we just mentioned. But we asked that question. Anyway, the point is, Matt was talking about income. Because look, and for anyone listening now, this is one of the things we say in the seminar, in the educational workshop is, if you don't have an income plan, what I mean by that is if you don't know, like let's just say you're 5 years from retirement. Okay, so starting in 5 years, when your monthly paychecks come in from wherever they're going to come from, your portfolio, your IRA, your Social Security, if you have a pension, your Roth IRA, all of your relevant retirement dollars, if you don't know when your paychecks start in 5 years every month, how many dollars every month will come from your 401k bucket?
Mm-hmm.
How many dollars will come from your Roth bucket? How many dollars will come from your Social Security bucket? And so on and so forth. If you don't know the answer to that, it hadn't been analyzed and kind of optimized for taxes, you don't have a retirement plan or an income plan. So,
And most people say they do know
yes,
because they're going to do what?
pro rata.
Or
That's a fancy accounting term for just kind of go in the order that you have it.
or I'm just going to withdraw 4%,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
equally
Yeah.
across everything. I'm just going to take 4%. Is that a plan?
It's not a plan.
Not a plan.
Not a plan at all.
Not
Matter
a
of fact, it's worse than a plan.
Yes.
It's the government's plan.
Right.
So
That's right.
anyway, we would love to talk more about the details of this. My point was, the story was, Matt does a great job explaining this, like better than anybody else I know. And he talked on taxes for probably 30, 40 minutes.
I think so.
Maybe longer. And there was still a guy in the back of the room, and he probably represented others because there's a lot of people who don't want to raise their hand. And I get that. But broke it down very, very simply. And this guy just could not sink in. And so I sat with him and talked to him one-on-one when it was done for like 15 minutes. And finally, at the end of me sort of talking about some specific questions that he had and getting around this, his final kind of statement was, oh, what Matt said and having a Roth conversion strategy, that actually is important.
My superpower fizzled out that night.
And so it's, when I say it's a lesson we shouldn't have had to learn again, what I mean by that is I think it's very easy to assume that we make a comment like Roth conversions, and we just assume people know what that means. I mean, it literally means you take money that's in your IRA or your 401k, you take that money out and you pay the taxes that are due to Uncle Sam. And then what's left over after you pay taxes, you put it into your Roth or a different account to grow tax-free. That's very, very generally a Roth conversion. Well, what we talk about all the time is having a Roth conversion strategy married to the ideal withdrawal strategy, meaning like how much money from each account per month. Those two things married together in retirement make such a bigger impact and such a bigger difference on the health and how long your portfolio will last than what return you get.
It's so much more important
so
than how
much
you're
more.
invested.
So much more.
It's so much more
But everyone wants
important.
to talk about how much NVIDIA I got and what's this and
Yeah.
what's that and what's the newest bill and and it's just like, guys, we have got to refocus on what's actually important. All those things matter, but they're like priority 7, 8, 9, and 10 compared to number 1. Let's get that one right first.
If you haven't had this discussion, and the discussion would go something like, or not the discussion, I guess it's more the answer. You need the answer to how much money should you have in the 3 tax buckets. There's a taxable bucket, there's a tax-deferred bucket, and there's a tax-free bucket. Those are the only ones that exist.
From a tax perspective, how your money's going to be taxed,
Yep.
there's only 3 options.
There's only 3 options. So if you don't know how much money you need in each of those 3 buckets, number 1. Number 2, if you don't know how much money you're going to take out of each of those buckets on a year-by-year basis, that's number 2. And if you don't have a Roth conversion strategy to pair with number 1 and number 2, then you don't have an income plan, you don't have a tax plan. You just don't have one.
Yeah, but Matt, in my 401k at work, there's this tool, and it's like, an income planner.
I'm sure that is.
And it tells me that I need 1.2 million to retire the way I want to.
I bet
But,
it does.
Hey, good news. I got 1.4 million. So I've got more than I need. So what you're saying doesn't really matter to me.
Exactly. And that's what we hear all the time.
Right.
And it's like, oh gosh, like, okay, when you say it doesn't matter, I'm going to counter with it might matter to the tune of $500,000 in overpaid taxes. So you tell me, does that matter? Yeah, it freaking matters. Like it might be the most important thing that you do. And yet, Aaron, I don't think either of us has heard anyone else talk about this. There's a right amount in each of the 3 buckets. There's a right amount to take out of each of the 3 buckets. And you have to pair it with the right Roth conversion strategy. And it's different for every single person because everybody has different goals. Everybody's a different age. You're starting with different amounts. So it's not the same for every person. It's different for every single person. I've never heard someone else talk about that.
On that note, what I'll say is, we have people in our office literally every week, every day, and some of those are our clients that we meet with, but often they're new people coming in that are taking us up on our free portfolio x-ray, or they want a second opinion, or they just want to talk about this plan that we're talking about, our process.
770-741-0120. You can start that process today.
Yeah, call us up. But every day we have this conversation. And to your point, Matt, we've been doing this for a long time. I don't even want to calculate how many people we've met with. But to your point, I've never heard anyone say, guys, thanks for showing me this. I've done this before. This exact exercise, figuring out how much I need to take from each bucket each month in retirement and how much should be in each bucket. I appreciate this, but I've already done this before.
We've had people say that.
Well, people come in and they say, and they think they have. We ask them, have you done this? They say yes. But at the end, they're like,
And then we analyze their plan
"Oh."
and we're like, well, actually, you're still paying an extra like $400,000 in taxes.
They're like, I thought you meant something else. But no, at the end of our process, is what I mean. At the end of our process, no one said, hey, guys, this was cool, but I've already done all this before. Never.
It's wild. So Aaron's talking about how, we learned that lesson last week the hard way. And gosh, it just happens time and time again. The previous week, because we do these over 2 weeks, typically, we'll do one night, 1 week, another night the next week. The previous week, there was a gentleman sitting like right in the front row. He's dressed really well. He looked really smart. He looked like a CPA.
Right.
Like he was tracking. I say that CPAs don't look a certain way. But when I say things and I look into people's eyes, I can tell, have they heard this before or is this totally new to them?
Right.
And he had heard it all before.
Was it Undercover Boss? Was it somebody from the Vincent Financial Group?
that's
Like
right.
It was
with a fake
Aaron
mustache?
in a disguise. No, he's sitting in the front row and he's tracking with me. I can tell. I'm like, okay, this is a guy who's heard these things before. And I start talking about Roth conversions and he stops me and he's like, I can't do a Roth conversion. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I can't do one. I'm like, yeah, you can. Why do you think you can't do one? He's like, well, I can only do 8,000. And I just had to stop right there. And I'm like, all right, here's the situation again. I'm talking about Roth conversions, and he thinks that he's hearing me, but he's not hearing me at all.
Right.
Because what he's thinking about is, if I want to contribute to a Roth IRA, there are limits, which is true. And that's not what I was talking about at all. And man, it's just so difficult to get this information to people in a way that it is digestible, because so much of the information out there is, I don't want to say misleading, but maybe there's just too much. There's just too much information.
Yeah.
It's too hard to digest it all. And so you get these preconceived notions. You think you know it. And then when I say Roth conversion, you've turned off because you're like, oh, I already know that. I know that, so I'm not going to listen. But man, you just have to get these things right. You just cannot assume that you already know everything that there is to know about retirement planning, because it's going to cost you. I'm just going to tell you our average in saved taxes, just by having your money in the right buckets, taxable, tax deferred, and tax free. There's a right amount in each of those three buckets. Withdrawing your funds in the right order, the right amount in the right order, pairing it with a Roth conversion strategy, the average that we save in taxes is well into the six figures.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're sitting there and you're listening to me now, or you come to an educational event and you hear Roth conversion and you just turn your brain off because you think, I already know that. I'm here to tell you that no one has came into our office and said, I know it, and then shown us that they know it the way that we're telling it.
Mm-hmm.
That has never happened, not one time. And if you want to go through that process and you want to make sure that this is something you get right, because you really only get to do this once. You don't get like do-overs on this. Once you start the process, it's really hard. Retirement is a big ship. It's hard to turn it around. Once you start it, it's hard to turn it. If you want to get it right, we're here to help you get it right. Give us a call, 770-741-0120, or retireatlradio.com.
When Matt's saying that it's well into the six-figure difference on taxes paid, what he means by that is, one of the things that we do is we show someone their retirement plan. Let's just pretend that we have someone in the office and they are going to retire at 62.
Let me qualify that real quick with everybody's plan is different.
Yes.
And that's why it is so important to sit down and to make sure that you have the right buckets, because everybody's goals are different. Everybody's knowledge is a little bit different. Everybody's income stream in and out of retirement is different. So this is just based on an average as well. So talk me through that.
Absolutely. So let's just say that this person's, they want to retire at 62.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming to see us at 60. They want to retire in 2 years. And they want to assume they're going to live for 30 years. So, hey, I need my retirement to last me till 92, just as a conversation. So, okay, great. What Matt's talking about is, you're going to be getting income from your portfolio and from Social Security and from a pension if you have it and all that for 30 years. And it's not uncommon for over the course of those 30 years, as we plan this out, for getting this order of spending right and getting the right money, the right amount of money in these tax buckets, et cetera, getting that right, the amount of income you're taking from your portfolio over 30 years and the taxes that you're paying, it's not uncommon for us to save someone $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 that they would have been paying Uncle Sam if they didn't make this plan, in extra taxes. Not that anything that we're doing anything that's kind of walking the line of what. No, we're talking like obvious things: getting money in the right buckets, doing Roth conversions, and withdrawing your money in the ideal order. That can save hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes paid to Uncle Sam. But if you hear something like financial plan, I already got one. Roth conversions, I already read that article. And you miss a lot of the details behind it. To Matt's point, it could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars over a 30-year period.
And you may hear this and think, no, that's not true. There's no way. No, I don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to tell you we are undershooting it. We are underplaying this hand, because we are assuming that our $37 trillion in national debt and counting, our $170 trillion in future unfunded liabilities. If those two things don't increase our tax rates, I mean, everyone listening would be shocked. Every time we start one of our educational events, we ask, hey, are taxes going up or down in the future? In unison, every single person that has ever attended the event in the lifetime of us doing these events has all said it's going up.
Yeah.
The room could be dead for the entire time, but everyone will answer that question with taxes are going up.
And it matters not how you vote at all.
Nope.
Doesn't matter.
And we're not assuming that. We're not assuming that taxes go up. We're just saying, hey, if we are lucky enough for the taxes to just stay the same, and you may think they're really high, and I'm saying if we are lucky enough for them to stay where they are right now, our average savings, different for everyone, well into the six figures. If all of a sudden tax rates start going where they need to go in order for us to actually pay our obligations, there's a guy named David Walker. He's the former Comptroller General of the United States. He served under Bush and Clinton. Okay, he's not a partisan guy. Years ago, this is probably 12 years ago, he did a national speaking tour going around to all the big major cities, and his whole talking point was, you all better be ready, because in order for us to actually get control of our debt, this was 12 years ago, we need to double our taxes. Double our taxes. Okay, so you're listening to me and you're saying, no way, it's not going to be a six-figure impact. And I'm saying we are underplaying the impact of getting this right. Because if we do what we should do, if we are responsible as a nation, we are all going to be paying more taxes. And if that happens, getting this right is a seven-figure impact. So please, don't turn your ears off. Don't think you know. No one has came into our office, gone through our process, and actually had the right plan that was going to minimize their taxes. No one has. Right. It hasn't happened yet. I hope it does. One day I hope it happens. And maybe we'll have them on the show. And we'll just say, how did you do this?
Superpower.
But it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. And so I'm willing to bet that when you call our office and you start this process, 770-741-0120, you too will not be the first person that comes in and has it completely right.
And listen, our goal is not to just prove anybody wrong. The conversation in our office is we're usually laughing. We're talking about things. We're getting to know you. It's not a let us bash you over the head with some stats and some numbers and get our calculator out. This is like, let's look at your life and what you want to do with the rest of your life and make sure your money is lined up with that. And the other thing is, a lot of people want to focus on, a rate of return conversation or the very specific little details on, if I'm in this category of investor versus that category, if I take a little bit more risk, I get this kind of return. You will never out-return the tax brackets. I don't care how good of an investor you are, it will not happen.
You won't out-return the wrong spending strategy. It just can't work.
Insurance products are offered through the Insurance Business Advanced Planning Group. Vincent Financial Group is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Advanced Planning Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Advanced Planning Group and IPW are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be constructed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Vincent Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained by sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Vincent Financial Group. This podcast is a paid placement.